50 years ago, neuroscience discovered a very important psychological phenomena, something that completely changed the way we understand social programming, reprogramming the mind, and since then, media, advertisement, politics, media have been completely using this phenomena to change people's perception, to instill new belief, and to do at a wide scale social programming. In this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly what that phenomena is and how you can use that in your own life to reprogram your own subconscious mind, to plant new ideas in your mind, to create the life that you want and help you achieve your goals and your desire. And so if we go straight to the point, it's called the illusory truth effect. It came out first time in 1977 in a brilliant study. Since then, it's been proven multiple times by multiple studies, and the result is always the same. This is the key to change people's perception. And why is this important? Because your perception creates your reality, how you interact with the world, what you know, what is true to not true, and right to wrong, and good to bad, and so on, depends entirely on your own perception. And your perception is molded by the programming that you have ever since you're very young, right? Your parents, teachers, society, and so on is the cause of your programming. And of course, every day life is dynamic, so we receive new information. And if you pay attention to the dynamic of life and media around you, you will see that every single day you are bombarded by information, and a lot of that information, especially when it comes from media, is the same. It's like the same narrative pushed through different lenses, different journal, different medium, right? But also advertisement, marketing, keep on pushing certain form of messages over and over and over and over again. And if you ever wondered why this is so important and why this is so mainstream now, is because this is actually the key to reprogram the perception of an individual. So what did the study actually discover? It discovered this simple fact, is that a person is more likely to believe a statement if they heard it before, especially if they heard it multiple times before. And so what they really discovered is that the brain confused familiarity for accuracy, or another word for that is truth. So the more people heard a statement before on the test, on the study they did, the more that statement became the truth over time, even though the statement was entirely wrong and incorrect. But in the perception of the person, because of the familiarity, because of the repetition, because it sounded so something they heard before, therefore it must be true. Now, can you see how this can mislead a person in the choice, in the perception, in the interaction, in their belief about this or that, this product, this country, this political party, whatever the context may be, right? Can you see it the moment you control the perception and the idea of what is true, what is good, what is bad, what is wrong, how you can impact not only a group of persons, but how we can impact ourselves? Because the study also shows that this is not only a social phenomena, but that this is also an individual phenomena, meaning what you keep telling yourself many times, multiple times, has the same effect. So if you've told yourself something 10,000 times, you are going to believe this to be true. But if you tell yourself something for the first time just a few times, it doesn't sound as true to your mind yet, because there's no familiarity. So how does this apply really in your life? Well, this is actually very, very deep, because if you really pause and you go to the depth of what we're talking here, we're talking about the concept of propaganda, brainwashing, and social programming, really, right? But I want to keep this really personal, because it's about your life. It's about taking control of the matrix, taking control of what goes on in your own mind, and to give you the key to help you reprogram your own mind, to control your own perception, and to really let go of the old statement, the old belief, the old perception that are self-limited, that are shrinking, and that are holding you back instead of allowing you to expand, grow, become wealthier, richer, or to live in whatever way you choose to live your life, right? So if we simplify this illusory truth effect, what does it really mean? What it means that repetition is at the source of subconscious programming. So this is why things like affirmation or visualization or robotic affirmation or different tools that are invited to be done again and again and again every single day. Like one of the tools I give my clients every single day when I start working with them is daily gratitude. Because the more you start looking for things you're grateful for, and you start to feel that, and every day you revisit that and you write new things and so on, you're starting to develop a new perception. You're starting to see things in a different way. And the more you do that, the more that perception of reality where I have so much to be grateful for becomes truer and truer and truer. And so it diffuses the old perception of self-pity and the world is going to crap and so on, right? So it diffuses the victim fearful mentality by simply repeating and reaffirming gratitude and appreciation in your life. So this is simply one example of why using certain tools that I share on this channel or that you can find in books or seminars and so on is so important. The gap that many people don't understand is that repetition is so important. You see, it's not just about a few times and then you stop and you go back to repeating the same old crap that you do habitually. Because this is the challenge that we have, right? Is that we have so much momentum in certain way of thinking and behaving and acting and feeling that we keep on repeating those thoughts, those patterns over and over and over again, meaning we keep anchoring them in our consciousness even more every single day that we entertain them, right? So in some effect, life is always dynamic. The illusory truth effect is always acting, because every time you tell yourself, I'm not good enough, I'm too small, I'm too this, I'm too that, the more you reinforce that pattern in your life. And because what you believe, you must live. Life is a mirror. If you hold certain deep belief system about yourself, about money, about job, about opportunity, about your attractiveness, about your sense of confidence or self-worth, you are going to find that in your life. So it's not enough to repeat certain affirmation or certain visualization just 2 or 3 times and then just expect something to change. The key to sustain and to completely change your subconscious programming and by default your life, because you are transformed by the changes that you make in your own consciousness. The moment that old belief breaks down and you start conditioning that new belief, I guarantee you, you will see the difference in your life. When I used to feel like I'm too tall, because that's what I was telling myself, I'm too tall and it's a bad thing. And so since I was a teenager and a young adult, I was too tall, right? And I was shy and I was timid and I had all these thoughts of lack of confidence and shrinking and hiding and getting away from the spotlight, right? So as long as that perception was true for me in my identity and I could feel it, every time somebody would say, oh, why are you so tall? Because I'm 1.96 meters. But I perceive that as being too tall. So negative, self-conscious, embarrassment. So can you see how much you shrink when you operate life to that container, to that identity, to that set of belief? Now, the moment I started changing that perception and I started saying thank you, every time somebody was telling me, oh, why are you so tall, so to speak, I would say thank you for noticing and taking it as a compliment. Over time, because I tell you, the first few times it was extremely weird, extremely uncomfortable, extremely awkward. But now I have no shame or embarrassment or any form of insecurity regarding to my height, right? Because I have changed that program and I replaced it with a different truth. And this is the same for so many other things. I had to reprogram myself about money because I was told that money is hard to make, that money is bad, and that if it comes too easily, it's gonna leave you, and that if you have too much money, you shouldn't tell people because otherwise people will cheat you or will take advantage of you, all these type of things. So I had so many truths about money that I was told from my parents, from movies, from society. Yes, movies and society, because how many movies and TV shows start as the villain being super rich and they're greedy and they're bad, and it's always a rich person who's trying to fuck up the world. Have you ever noticed that pattern? So what you receive is that information again and again and again, and you start to believe what? That rich people are bad and greedy and so on. So subconsciously you will resist putting yourself in that state. So you gotta be very mindful of the information that you receive in your life. The same goes with love song and all those crappy freaking songs that you have about breakup and cheatings and this and that. Because if you take it, and music is very dangerous because it's very rhythmical, it slips right into your subconscious mind because it creates a state, right, where you become highly suggestible. The music is highly repetitive, it's highly rhythmical, and so it can go straight into your subconscious mind. So if you program love as being deceit and cheating and people, acting in crazy ways and toxic relationship and so on, and you keep on listening to those crappy songs, I guarantee you it affects your relationship, affects how you perceive relationship, and it affects what you believe will happen in a relationship. So social conditioning is always happening. You have to be very mindful of not only what you create and what you allow in your own consciousness, but also what comes to you. That's why they always say you become the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. Proximity is power, or proximity is extremely dangerous. And so you can see that social programming never stops. You have to be very mindful of what you allow in, because whether you like it or not, it goes in, and what goes in, you express out. So how do you practically make something of this? Very simple. This is where the tools comes in. All the tools like visualization, gratitude journal, affirmation, robotic affirmation, scripting, whatever you prefer. The tools are simply here to help you get in a state, to help you get into that mindset, and to reinforce over time that mindset through repetition until it becomes normal, until it becomes who you are. So I'm not gonna go and spend another hour here talking about those things. I have a lot of video where I break down in exact detail how to use all those different tools. The most important is that you use them again and again and again and again, because the more you do that, the illusory truth effect will start to kick in, and you will start to believe what you tell yourself over and over and over again. And when you take control of that, you start to brainwash yourself again, but in this time for what you want to create in your life. So let me know what you think down in the comment. As always, thank you for watching this video. I will see you next time. Be well.